What's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg, and this is another Chance Encounter.
Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg. I'm a commercial real estate guy. I'm from the internet. We're seeing more properties like this being built in front of a house that's going to be torn down soon. I understand that there are power lines that are getting kind of close. What's up again? This is Dan Fredenberg, and that there is a commercial real estate building.
I'm joined today with my man. How you doing today? Logan, man.
I'm doing great, brother. Just finishing the week out strong and spent some time in Florida. Got a little sun on the face. Took the daughter down there for her birthday and feeling really good. Had a great week.
All right, good stuff. And if this is your first chance encounter and you're more with it than I am in this Friday afternoon, you're wondering what's going on. I always interview commercial real estate investors, and I have them in this 15-minute format that also helps me document my relationships for 506B compliance. How's that for neat? But the main thing is I go through the 5 different motivations that I've found are distinct among commercial real estate investors, and I say, hey, which one's you? And then I go through the 6 different roles in a commercial deal, and I say, which one's your core competency? If you want to download your own one of these Dan Does Deals commercial roll die, I'm still looking for a snappier name for it, but you can get it at dandoesdeals.com. I don't even ask for your email address, which is like the worst thing ever for marketing, but I'm doing it anyway because I want you to print it out and I want you to be able to effectively communicate on the topic of commercial real estate. But please, my guest, introduce yourself so everybody knows who you are, how to pronounce your name, all that
Absolutely.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, Logan Freeman here, private equity real estate company based out of Kansas City, Missouri. And we focus on real estate in the Midwest. So, Missouri, Kansas, Iowa, Nebraska right now is our main focus.
All right, awesome. And I've spoken to some of your staff already, so you're definitely nowhere near a noob. I was commenting just before we started about your baby face, but let's go through the motivations here. So I go through the motivations because newbies, they know why they're doing this, but they don't know necessarily what role they're going to play. So the first motivation I found is preserving purchasing power. And what that means is that if you rely on the cash flow that comes from your assets to make ends meet, in other words, you don't have another day job sort of thing, well, your biggest concern is that inflation is going to wear away at your purchasing power. So you have to make more acquisitions just to make sure that inflation doesn't ruin the party. And nobody wants that. But that wasn't my motivation. My motivation is trading time for wealth. So I got a background in tech. Specifically, it was a CRM company, and I ended up opening an agency for that with all the mass marketing and all that kind of fun stuff. But the problem with being in tech and having a high salary, high wage, all that sort of fun stuff is that you're giving away half of it to tax, which is not so cool. So I put on my thinking cap and I'm like, well, how can I pivot so that I'm accumulating wealth in return for my effort and time? And that's what I'm up to. So that's my motivation. But the next one is the one that I've had most people end up saying. They want to fast track that retirement. They want to stop working 40 hours a week. Maybe they want to cut down the number of weeks in a month that they have to work or the number of months in a year. But no matter what, there's an idea that they want to slow down. But the next two, you'll see they'll never want to slow down. The really ambitious people, they want to buy their entire hometown and they want to make sure that their great grandchildren never have to hold a day job. So real generational wealth, that sort of thing. But that is in contrast to the people who they have some sort of sector of society or something, like I like to say they want to save the world, but it might be the environment, it might be animals, but they realize that accumulating wealth is by far the most effective vehicle to make a really big impact in society. So Logan, of those 5 different motivations, which of those resonate with you best? What combination best describes you?
I would say the second and the fifth one, Dan. I mean, our whole motto of our company is doing well by doing good. And I got into commercial real estate because I wanted to help people, not just along their investing journey, but also people that are, disenfranchised, right? And maybe they don't have the same upbringing that I had growing up, right? And so it was really helping folks that don't have the same benefits that maybe I have. And so I sit on the board of a nonprofit here in Kansas City to help in homelessness. I thought about when I was getting into real estate, what business can I get in that I can, do well by doing good? That's real estate, because I can provide safe and affordable housing. But also, my mentors were saying, hey, you need to own assets. And that comes to the second point that I want to make here was, Logan, you cannot work for money. I grew up in a blue collar city, Jefferson City, Missouri. My mom worked 2 jobs, and I saw her work her tail off just to make ends meet. And I said, there's got to be a better way. And so I'd say those 2 combinations really have given me the ambition to continue to grow our company and try to learn how to actually build this wealth and this empire, so to speak, that we're trying to do here in the Midwest.
All right, that's a beautiful thing. So let's get through these different roles here. And again, if you want your own copy of this Dan Does Deals commercial roll die, just go to dandoesdeals.com. And I'm going to go through all of these just to make sure that you can effectively communicate on the subject of commercial real estate. And the best spot to start is with the repositioners. A repositioner looks at a whole whack of different properties. And what are they looking for in all this paperwork? Well, they're an acquisitions person. So the first thing they need to do is they need to find out if the seller is actually telling the truth. They need to do the math, saying, is this building actually making what they say it is? And the fancy word for that is underwriting it. They do the math for the entire building. And then the other thing that they're looking for, though, is how can I reposition it? What changes can I make so that I've got some upside? And then there are a few different vehicles that they have at their disposal to do that. Sometimes more efficient operations is a great way to get more upside. And I got these Benjamins going down the toilet, and that's what they got to stop. But it's more than just collecting rents and unclogging toilets. It's also automations for maintenance. It's also marketing, like a leasing agent. And marketing is one of my fortes in automations. But repositioners also will get a contracting team to do a value add. That's often what needs to happen, just because there's not enough meat on the bone for an operations move. And if you actually make the place nicer, then it's easy to just boost up the rents, and that's upside. But if you're like me and you're from the internet, you got a problem on your hands, you're going to need a local. You're going to need somebody in the fold who's nearby. They can be there in an hour or two, because that's not going to be me. And if all of these people were lined up next to each other and a tenant walked by and we said, hey, who are those people? They'd probably say, oh, they're the owners. But of course, there's more to it than that. The banks have to get involved in everything. So financiers aren't necessarily the banks. Some people are capital raisers, more or less, and that's a type of financier. But the important thing is, when you turn around to a financier and say, hey, I want to buy this apartment complex that's worth tens of millions of dollars, do you happen to have tens of millions of dollars to lend me? They're going to say, okay, there's all this stuff, but they're going to want to know one thing that I haven't mentioned yet, which is, who's the sponsor? Who's the KP, okay? And the reason why they need to know that is even if you're Elon Musk, richest man in the world, if you want to get a loan and buy like a 350 unit apartment complex, a 1,500 unit apartment complex, you're going to have somebody in the fold who already owns a similar asset, or else you're not going to be eligible. Now, you're also going to have some liquidity, and you're also going to have a balance sheet with at least the amount of the loan. But if you have all of that stuff, you've got yourself a commercial real estate deal. So, Logan, your core competencies that you bring to your deals, what are you up to?
Dan, I would classify us as a sponsor and a KP mostly. We also are local and we do the operations. So some people call this vertical integration, right? And so, but most of our time is spent in the operations side and in the repositioning side. So finding the opportunities, doing those due diligence aspects of it, making sure we underwrite the deal, like you mentioned very well, and then bringing those opportunities, right? And so that's where I would say we're a little bit of everything in that, but the most of the time people just kind of refer to us as a sponsor of a real estate deal.
All right, beautiful. And as far as deals go, when commercial real estate investors talk to each other and we say, what's your buy box or what's your ideal property, what they're really asking for is, first of all, the geography. So they want to know where these properties have to be. You're also going to want to know the unit count, okay? Because you have a completely different situation for a 5-unit compared to a 150 unit, for example. So you're going to want to know the unit count. But you're also going to want to know the class. And the problem with class is it means actually two different things, and they use the same rating system for both. One of them is for the area it's in. So that's the crime rate, the vicinity of schools, things like that. And then the other one is the condition of the building. So that's what really we're asking for. So Logan, as far as the property where it's easier to say yes, it's more difficult to say no, what would you like people to bring more of?
I would say a 100 plus unit class B area and class of property in the Midwest. So that encompasses Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. That's really where our strong suit is and where we focus most of our time.
All right, beautiful, awesome. And then as far as my favorite thing about commercial real estate is just how people are so friendly and helpful. And I chalk that up to, how dependent we are on all the different faces of the die. And that, we're, like you've got your own company, so you can be, like almost all of them just in-house. But in generally, like a single person can't be all of them at the same time. But and we can't break any SEC restrictions, so we're not allowed to entice investors unless you got a 506c. Then you can do whatever you want. But as far as the people in commercial real estate, Logan, who are best suited for you to help, can you describe that person, please?
Yes, I am calling all people that have deal flow. So if you are in the Midwest and you need help getting a project done or need something that Dan has talked about in regards to the operations or the repositioning or the financing of the property, please, that's our forte is Midwest multifamily properties, class B, 100 plus units. If you've got a lead on something, reach out to me and I can help.
All right, beautiful. And the way to reach out, we mostly ran into each other through LinkedIn. Is that the best way, or is there a website that's better?
You could search Logan Freeman, Mr. Kansas City on LinkedIn, but ftwinvestmentsllc.com. Probably try to put a lot of great content up there for everybody to kind of digest.
All right, awesome. And there's only one other thing, which is actually for you, my favorite viewer in the whole wide world who's here. And you may not know this, but down under my left hand, there's this really ugly red button, and it's pretty much the worst thing ever. And all you need to do to get rid of that awful red button is you click on it, and it has a magical power. The magical power is that YouTube starts to pay for these videos instead of me. And if that's not the coolest thing ever, I don't know what is, but it doesn't cost you anything. All it means is that these videos might show up on your list of suggestions, but you don't even have to watch those because you've already done me an enormous favor just by hitting that awful button and getting it out of your face forever. But just like Logan, you've done me an enormous favor by joining me today. So this has been really awesome getting to know you better.
Awesome show, Dan. Great job.
All right. Thanks, man.
I just want to tell you, because I've actually seen your website, Real Estate is a Scam, before, and I loved it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because I think it's really so spot on. There's good stuff, bad stuff in every industry.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. For Dan the Man.
And thank you. Turn that subscribe button from red like his beard to gray like his beard will be.
So I met Dan through some networking groups for real estate investing. He's a great guy from what I know about him. He's very ambitious, and he makes it easy to come on with his questions and has a great setup. It's easy, it's clear, concise, and I'd recommend going on his interviews for anyone that's considering it.
It was unlike anything I've ever experienced. It was super fun. The process was so easy, a caveman can do it. I mean, if you guys haven't done it yet, you guys need to get on his calendar. Just take 15 minutes of your time, get exposure, find out who Dan is, what he's about. He's a true trifecta. And if you don't know who he is, get in touch with him. Google his name, find him on LinkedIn, do whatever you can. Just reach out to him.
So I really appreciate the format. Like I've told you a couple times before, I think it's really great because me personally, I'm very long-winded. I have to purposefully make things more concise, but the way I take things in is I definitely prefer things to be concise and straight to the point and concentrated. And the chance encounters really do that great for individuals. So you can get a good grasp on who they are, what do they do, why do they do it, what space do they operate in. That's why I love chance encounters.